funny do we think we are?
Funny will get you through anything.
Stop laughing, you're gonna cry.
You can laugh about a situation or you can cry about a situation. He goes, every time I see you, you're always smiling and laughing.
You!
Yeah,
I want people to pay a £50 admission to get into my
I'm
funeral.
not going, I'm sorry.
Hi, welcome to Changing Suits. My name's Bal.
My name is Taj. Yes, I did have a pause because it's more dramatic when you have...
And my name is Tad. Okay, so that brings us nicely on to the subject for this week's podcast. How funny do we think we are? Not we as in us, but do we think we are as people? Now, the reason
Oh,
this
wait, I
subject...
want to start off. But I put a poll out to ask people who they thought was the funniest person out of us two.
Yes, you did. And what was the result?
I can't remember exactly.
Oh, I can remember the exact figures.
Oh, can you? I'm sure you can.
Well, the funny thing was, a lot of people at the start of it was like, both of you are funny. I'm like, yeah, you're sitting on the fence, people. You're sitting on the fence. Tell us the truth. And what was the results? More people found me funny than you.
No, whatever.
But do you actually think you're funnier than me?
Yeah. No,
You're lying.
No, I don't think I am. I think I'm more genuine.
What do you mean you think you're more genuine than me?
You just make up stories. Mine are real, authentic.
Which story have I made up?
I don't know. I just made that up.
Okay, so not only have we learned that I am the funnier one out of this, but also I'm also the most genuine one. Okay, yeah, so we did learn that. Now, the reason that poll went up, so that
It
listeners
was for
know,
my ego, but it didn't work out.
was that for your ego? I mean, come on, you wouldn't know the answer.
No, it wasn't.
But basically, the reason is because sometimes when I've had this like twice, where I'm with one of my friends and then Taj phones, and then they're like, "Oh my God, is it Taj?" And I'm like, "Who cares if it's Taj? You're with me." That's fine. And then you've had that experience as well, right? So we were just wondering, I mean, like, audience, who do you like more? Because we are needy people. I'm not going to lie.
Childish to ask that, but I suppose I did ask that in a post.
Okay. So, yeah. Do we think that it's important to be funny though? Like, the reason I asked that is, do you remember when we were, looking to get married and you look for a life partner and all that sort of stuff? And you do those lists and you're like, okay, so what are you looking for in a partner? Firstly, what was on your list? What is still on your list?
Well, I said that the person had to be funny. And to be honest, my husband...
Was that number one on the list?
Yeah. And to be honest, my husband's funny when we're outside. Sometimes when we're inside, when he can bother to make an effort. Which says a lot about him.
Yeah. See, I have the opposite. So I had, again, you want someone that you can have a laugh with. What you've said outside, like, he's quite funny. Whereas, so, unless he's in the mood, he tends to be, like, probably sometimes, not all the time, really funny at home. And I know we've had this discussion where you're like, Sook. Not that I'm trying to offend him. But I'm like, yeah, that was actually a really funny joke. But then I realised I just laugh at anything. So that's no offence to him.
No,
but he
but I
said
must
that.
admit, when he's funny, he's really funny.
Okay, so we're making him feel better, so I'll make sure he listens to this podcast. But why is it that funny has to be number one on the list?
For me,
not only partners, but just generally life. Why is it important?
For me, I think funny will get you through anything. If you can laugh at something, you're going to be faced with so many challenges in life, and so many different challenges in life. Being funny and laughing about stuff will get you through it. Like,
I feel like it's been really important for our family. I mean, I know I'm going to say, oh, we've been through a lot, but we've been through a lot. But a lot of people would say the same thing. And one thing that I especially notice now when I go back home is we just laugh for the sake of laughing, whether it's funny or not, or, it might be the fact that, mum and dad are just keep bickering, or it's just a funny thing. Like, and I think that's where we've picked up that habit from. It's from mum and dad, where they just laugh at nothing.
But I think, yeah, it is a coping strategy as well. Like, for example, some people just can't, for example, I've said that twice, but Granddad, he was telling us how he went to a funeral and he said he was standing in the corner laughing. What was the reason? I've forgotten.
He said he cracked the joke at the person's funeral. I mean, there's certain places that you crack jokes, and there's certain places that you shouldn't. And an Asian funeral is not one of those places that you should be cracking a joke. But basically, and what he said was that the person who died had forgotten to take his next breath. Now that would
But it's funnier
ordinarily it
in
wouldn't have.
Punjabi when you say it in Punjabi.
Yeah, "Oh, bolia si salan," right? And obviously he was at the funeral, so everyone was like, "Shh!" But it's pretty funny because Granddad was like pretty old when he cracked cracks things like jokes like that. But that's what he was like as well. Like I remember I was telling we were looking at photos this weekend when I went back home, and um I was just saying to we're looking at photos, and there's one where our brother is picking Granddad up, and they're just laughing. I don't know if you remember the photo. He's literally just picking him up because Granddad was slightly shorter than he was quite short, and you could just see that they were having a good time. And then there was another time where I was straightening my hair, and Granddad was like, "I want to straighten mine," right? And so I straightened his daddy.
Because he didn't have anything on his head.
Not really, he didn't really have very much hair on his head. So I straightened his daddy and his beard, and he looked like it was, Mr. Miyagi. He
Yeah.
looked like that. So yeah, he liked doing things like that. I don't know if anyone else finds that funny, but it was good at the time.
But, for example, there was this thing when we were younger that you shouldn't laugh too much, dandiana kardijo. And there was always that.
I do that now. I say that. I'm like, especially when it's late at night and the kids just keep laughing. I'm like, stop laughing. You're going to cry. Because that is what ends up happening. They end up being silly and then they hurt themselves. And then that's the end of the evening then.
Yeah, but do you think that hurting themselves is going to happen anyway? And it's just superstition that we say don't keep laughing?
No, I don't think it's superstition. I think it's the whole thing of like when they're in one of those moods where they're being super silly, they might do something like run into a wall or something just because they're being silly. So I think it's not superstition. I think it's that, or it could be superstition because it's like it's the sort of balance, the yin yang theory. I think there's a lot of that within the South Asian community as well. But basically, the balance. So if you're laughing too much, you're going to cry as well. Not that it has to happen right then
Yeah, but
and there.
I don't think people have said too much. Oh, do you think they do? Stop crying so much.
Yeah, in our community, it's like, yeah, don't cry because,
Oh,
you
yeah, I
know.
suppose yeah, you're right.
So it's about being on a neutral footing. Oh, that's really interesting
So
and
basically, you just have to be a robot and not have
unemotional.
emotions.
And this goes into mental health, I would have thought.
Yeah,
Hannah?
yeah. It's like don't show too much of this. Don't show much of that. Too much of that. Don't show you're too happy because then
Najarag lagjaniya.
yeah, that you're gonna get jinxed or something like that.
But then, okay, so going right back to the fact that you put the poll out, right? We've had the conversation and we just did it in between ourselves before you put the poll out ages ago. We did it and we're like, oh, I think I'm funny, and you're like, no, I think you're funny, and I'm like, really? You think you're funnier, really? And then all that sort of stuff, right? But why was it important for us to be the funny one,
Because
the Chandler
I think
of
it
the
was
group?
important because you wanted to know that okay, although we talk about serious topics, that we're making not light of them, but we're going through these difficult times. Any of us are, but we need to deal with it in a certain way as well. You can laugh about a situation or you can cry about a situation. You can learn from a situation or you can keep making those mistakes from a situation.
Do you know what someone said? I think it was during an episode that we were recording, and they said, "I like the way you talk about." At that point, we were talking about mental health because you make it funny. I'm like, I don't know if that's a compliment or not. I don't know, but I was like, I didn't think of it like that. Like we talk about our lives, right? I don't know. Sometimes you just gotta have a laugh, right? Most of our life has been a bit of a joke anyway, hasn't it?
But
Really,
nice.
but it has because I don't know.
For example, I think we've mentioned this before, death we talk about quite a lot. And we talk about it
I
in
feel
a
like we're talking
laughing
about
way.
it less. I feel like we're talking about it less though because
We're so busy.
we went through a phase where we kept on talking about it, and then we're like, okay, we should stop talking about it because the kids started talking about it. It's like, yeah, that isn't Hannah. Do
Yeah.
you feel like we talk about it less? Do you think we need
I
to
think
ramp up the death
no,
conversation?
I think we have started talking about it less, but I think we talk about it so much. We used to talk about it so much. It used to be every conversation. I remember when we were sitting there at the table and our sister-in-law was sitting there and she go, no, one of us said, let's stop talking about death. And we just stopped talking because we didn't really have anything to talk about. I don't know if that's so morbid that every subject related to death. It was not even like a deep death kind of subject. It was like, ha ha, ha, you're gonna. Die.
I've got another, thing of this. Now, quite recently, with Friends, you had Chandler who passed away quite recently, and Friends was a massive thing in our generation. Like, even now, I'm pretty sure I don't think the next generation it's
No,
not for
they
the
don't
next
even know
generation.
what it is. Yeah.
But, I felt I was away on holiday when I found out, and I was so upset because I was like, "Oh my god, that's crazy." But why do you think it was just because I don't know, why was Friends so
I think, like,
important?
for me, I was like, "Oh my god," but I wasn't so much, "Oh my god," because do you remember Robin Williams when he died?
Yeah.
I was more shocked at that. And the funny thing is we had Friends on every day and repeated the same repeat after. So I think maybe I built up a resilience where it was like, "Okay, it happened again. Oh, no, it happened, but hey."
But then do you think it was quite clear that he was going through quite hard times? Like when they did the reunion, I know this is really weird that we're talking about this, but anyway, but they had the reunion and it was quite clear that there was something going on. Whereas Robin Williams, I don't think he revealed very
That's
much.
true,
Well, we didn't know
actually.
about it.
I think, yeah, that might have been the shock factor because it was like he seemed like such a bubbly person, not that we knew him personally, but whereas Chandler, forgotten his real name,
Matthew Perry.
Matthew Perry, yeah, revealed his private, intimate, personal life, so maybe it wasn't so much of a shock.
So do you think the fact that people aren't saying it, that's when it and something serious happens, that's where the shock is. But people that start raising awareness and telling people about it, it becomes a bit easier to the pill to easier to take.
Swallow? Yeah.
Swallow, yeah, that
I think that might
saying.
be something in itself. Just like, for example, but then if you see a happy person, you think that their life is amazing. They must be doing amazing. And just generally, when you see someone out there, you're like, oh, they must be going on, but you don't know what's happening to them, their bodies, their minds,
But
something
then
at
on that
home.
point, if I if I died, I'd want people to be shocked.
I think we would.
So do you think I shouldn't like that we shouldn't be talking about mental health then? So we can have that shock factor.
Why would you? So you want people to be mentally disturbed after you left this, departed this earth?
Okay, so we were watching this program yesterday, right? Just on the day, right? I know we're going off.
I thought we didn't
It
look
was a
at death that much.
it was no, it was a comedy. Was it? Yeah, yesterday it was on. I don't know if anyone else watches this, but it's people are gonna be like, ugh. It's called Brassic, right?
Oh,
No. What? No. It's called anyway, so basically in this episode, the girl's dad dies and, there's someone at the church, door collecting money for them to go into the church. It's like an
wow.
admission it's an admissions thing, but the person had loads of debt, so that's why, they did that. But I was thinking,
God,
right, I think I might have told you this before because I had the same idea. Like,
I wouldn't
I
pay it.
want
I'd be
people.
like, I'm going.
So you do I have had this conversation with you. Have I had this
No,
conversation
you
with you?
haven't.
I want people to pay a £50 admission to get into my
I'm not
funeral.
going. I'm sorry. Don't care.
That's
You're dead, or what else am I going to do with it?
that's not fair.
Would
£10? £10?
maybe at a push. If
15, because
there's
obviously
food
you'd go
involved.
in.
If there's food involved.
So basically what I'd do with the money is
Wait,
then
you'd be dead.
no, hold on. I'd put this into my will so people know. I'd want them to cremate the money with me so that people
You
can see
can't
their
do
money.
that because illegally you can't burn tinder.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think there is something you can't burn legally. You can't burn tinder, so you wouldn't be able
Are you
to.
sure?
Yeah,
That's ruining my whole
look
funeral
it up.
plans. 1 second.
But anyway, while you look it up, your warped plan, let's relate this back to the South Asian community and why we find it difficult to have express different emotions and we're trapped.
Hold on. No particular law explicitly states that
Whatever now.
whatever, of burning money in the UK. Defacing
Oh,
a banknote is prohibited in the UK. However, ironically enough, burning or destroying one is not. There we are. That's going to be in my will.
oh, interesting.
Anyway, sorry, I disturbed you.
So I was saying, why in the South Asian community, which revisiting what we said, is it that you can't show different emotions too much? I mean, it's okay when you're at a wedding, everyone's laughing, you're swearing at people, it doesn't matter.
But I think it's important because most of our lives are, we do the same old stuff. Most people are pretty miserable, right? Like you meet everyone seems to be miserable. That's why I keep away from everyone, right? So,
Oh,
right?
actually saying that, so I do some wellbeing events, and the guy that opens the caretaker opens up the doors. He goes, "Every time I see you, you're always smiling and laughing."
You.
Yeah, that's not nice
Okay.
though.
I'm only
And I was
joking.
like, that made me feel happy. He goes, "It's
Yeah.
really nice." And I thought, that's a nice thing to say because
Yeah.
it had changed his day because he goes, it makes him smile.
Oh, that's
Mm.
nice.
And I was like, wow, changing someone's day,
Yeah.
just even if it was one person,
I
was
remember
so
when
nice.
we were talking, we had a meeting and you had a delivery, and I could hear the conversation. And you said, "Oh, you seem really happy." He goes, "Oh, yeah, I've got a day off tomorrow." And he was probably, even I got happy the fact that the person was happy.
So it spreads, doesn't it? Just like if you're walking down the road and you smile to someone and they smile back. Although that reminds me of a saying in Norway, they say if you smile at someone, either you're from the America or you're crazy or something along the lines of that. Please, our Norwegian listeners, if that is wrong, please do tell us. But that is something that I read
Oh,
when we were
really?
living in Norway. If you smile at someone, yeah,
Do they smile at people in America? Just generally?
I don't
Do
know.
people smile?
But I'm talking about Norway.
Well, they won't be from the UK. I mean, if you go on the tube, everyone's
I
not
smile
very
at
smiley.
everyone, but sometimes I think, am I looking like a bit of a freak because I'm smiling at everyone? And sometimes I think I do. I look at the person to look at me to smile, and I think, why am I doing that?
You're waiting for them to smile back.
Yeah, because I'm like, maybe they're having a bad day. Just a smile might change their day.
The other day, so I went out with a few people, our cousins. I don't know why I said a few people. And we went back to our mummy's house and we were just sitting there for a little while and we were just talking about, it was quite a miserable conversation. And then we were like, "Oh, we're going to go now." I was like, "Nope, we're not going to go. We can't go on this subject." And so I told a joke. Do you want to hear my joke?
Go on then.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Doctor.
Doctor Who.
How did you know?
That is so lame and such an odd
They,
joke.
well, to be fair, everyone did start laughing. I've tried that joke on the kids as well, and
But
they
they
didn't
won't
laugh
get
because
it because they
they
don't
won't
know
get it
Doctor
because they
Who
don't.
is.
Yeah, but the problem is the reason I said, "Shall I?" I don't think you found it funny because I said, "Shall I tell you a joke?" I think that's what killed it.
No, because that's such an old joke.
Go on, give me a joke. You tell me a joke.
Okay. Exi Raja.
That isn't. I didn't know. That is not a
It made
joke.
you smile.
No, the reason I'm smiling is because in India, the kids were someone else had said a saying, and the kids kept on saying it. I was like, and they were like, "Oh, tell us a story, tell us a story," and I told them that story, and then they kept on repeating that one. That's why I'm smiling. That's not a joke.
Yeah, but it made you smile.
All right, fine, fine, fine. Okay. So, what was the second thing on your list when you were gonna
Oh, I
when
forgot
you
that
were
we even
someone?
mentioned that. The next thing was, I don't know, I think that was the main thing. I didn't ask
Just
anyone.
someone that makes you laugh. It
I
is true. Like
didn't
I
care
can't.
if we lived in a plastic, not a plastic, cardboard box, as long as it made me laugh.
No, there has
To
to
be
be.
honest, I did think that he lived in a rundown house because I didn't even know what a Swindon was, what it was, and he said, "Oh, I live in a house," and which was a tick for me. It's like, okay, a house,
He lives in a house.
a
Right,
small
good.
house, that's good.
We'll have a roof over our head. Yes.
And he said, "Oh, my toilet is at the bottom of the garden," and I was like, "Oh, okay, okay, I'll still marry you." And then he came with his broken down car, like such an old Volvo, which I made him scrap.
Where did that Volvo? Yeah, I was
I
gonna.
made
Where
him
did the
scrap
Volvo go?
it. He scrapped it the week after we got married.
Seriously?
Yeah, because I made him do it. It was a horrible car. It broke down twice in the 1 week that I was driving it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had to have one of his close family friend, and he had to rescue me twice. It was embarrassing. Yeah,
Yeah. So that's where you've changed your husband as soon as you went in. You got rid of the car.
yeah,
I've been trying it for like 12 years.
yeah. But
There's a
your
car
husband would
that's
have fixed the car. All right, what was on your list?
okay. So I had good personality, as in I needed them
Oh,
to
I
be
didn't even
funny.
think about a good personality. But then
No, I went with
married
that
people,
funniness,
yeah.
right? So I went with the funniness, that was more where we were going in. What if the person just kept on cracking jokes? What
Then
if
then you'd be
you
like,
did
"Oh, shut up."
so then where we're saying we want the person to be funny, we don't always want them
Well,
to be
actually,
funny.
there was, somewhere we went out and, Party kept cracking jokes, and she goes, "How do you put up with it? He's always making you laugh." And I go, "He does."
He's always making you laugh.
No, he's always like, "It's funny, he's never serious." And I was like, "You haven't seen him at home, he doesn't make me laugh."
Did did you say that?
Yeah,
Oh,
I wasn't gonna lie, was I?
fair enough.
I
She
just
didn't believe you though, because you only
Yeah,
see
because
what
she only saw
someone's
what she saw. She thought he was just a funny person. Little
hmm.
did she know.
But you know what? This is the thing. You know the whole Robin Williams thing where he was just so
Perception.
funny.
Yeah.
But like how I know this sounds weird.
Because we
How is
only
that?
No, because look, when you pick up the phone, you've got a phone voice.
Yes.
When you go outside, you've got a different way that you show yourself. And everyone that you come across in your life, you are in a different way. Say if you stepped in the house, I'd act in a different way to how I would act now. I'd be probably a bit more nicer. I'm not saying that I'm a horrible person, but my kids probably would say, she's a bit more nicer that you've come around. We all do it.
Hmm.
When you're outside, you have to pretend. You might want to show that
But
you're more.
it's not pretending because that's part of your personality as well. So why is it a pretense just because you're doing it outside? Because automatically you change the way you talk and stuff, but it's part of you. Like people are really surprised when I say like a
I'm
lot of
miserable
the events and stuff. Say it again.
git. That you're a miserable git, really.
I think I am, to be fair. Like I am, but it's just well, when I'm in one of my moods, I can that can go on forever. We know that I'm a bit miserable then, right? I think I'm a bit up and down. Like if I just want to have a good time, I can have a good time. If I just want to be left alone, I am miserable.
Like, what
So
were
it's
you going to
just
say before? Anyway,
no wait, something.
the listeners aren't going to wait for you to remember.
Wait. No, it's gone.
Okay.
No, I can't remember. Okay. Oh, I'm gonna as soon as I press stop, that's when I'm gonna remember what I was gonna say. I can't remember what I was gonna say. Okay, you'll have to carry on.
I'm going to think else to say.
Okay. In that case, I feel like this hasn't been we haven't cracked it. Crack a joke. You have to crack a joke.
You can't crack a joke when someone forces you to crack a joke.
Okay, fine. All right. That's the end of this episode because
So how
we've
are
got
you going to round it up?
how are we going to round it up? Well, there's nothing to really round up. This is our general conversation. I feel like it's been a serious conversation, even though it's about trying to be funny. But it is what it is, people. We're in one of those moods where we just don't want to laugh today. So if anyone, as this goes out on social media, we want people to tell us your jokes,
Yeah,
make us
that'd be
laugh.
good. Yeah, that would
Yeah,
be
do.
nice.
That's a good one.
Share
I
your
think we
joke.
need to laugh. Yeah, that is goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me.
Follow us on Instagram and Facebook, changing_suits, and subscribe so you never miss an episode.